Hi, I'm Srijani from Filmfare.
Hi,
and
Srijani.
It's so nice to speak to all of you. I saw the film yesterday actually.
Oh, nice.
I got the screeners and I was really lucky that, I could actually see the film and kind of interview all of you. It's a pleasure. And firstly, I just want to say that you guys look lovely. Lovely. And Ali, your girl dad t-shirt, I was just observing it from there. Yeah. And congratulations on your baby, by the way.
Thanks.
So my first question is to Richa and Ali. Why did you decide to jointly back this project?
Jointly, well, we produced together.
Jointly because we married.
Yeah.
Right.
Love,
Right. Oh my God.
amongst other things.
Yes. No, but
Yeah.
when we, actually, were we married when we decided to produce together?
Shit.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, we were.
His dates are messed
well,
up, but I'm very happy this is the first thing that is coming out of our studio
Right.
because we really believe in it. And it's going to win a lot of hearts and it's definitely going to be a memorable film.
What kind of conversations did you have with the director, Shuchi, before, coming on board for the project?
Well, Shuchi and I have been talking about the script for a long time. We've
Right.
been, I would go on walks with her sometimes in New York, sometimes in Bombay, sometimes in Goa. We went for a long drive and we submitted the film
Okay.
for the first time to the Film Bazaar, where it found co-producers, and we would just talk about how difficult the teenage years can be, and only in retrospect you understand that at that time everything seems like life and death.
Right.
You know, a boy not talking to you seems like, oh, my God, life is over.
Yeah.
I came second in class, life is over.
Yeah.
No one will look at me now, I have a pimple. And how those things become really exaggerated in your own head, and how they really do become life and death matters, you know, bullying in school.
Yeah.
So this film touches upon a lot of those things, as well as touches upon a very tender spot between a mother and a daughter's a dual coming of age, in the sense where they come to understand each other. I also understand each other's, I want to say, loneliness and also desire. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a beautiful film. I
Right.
think we'll
Yeah.
always be proud of it.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I really loved it. And coming to the mother and daughter relationship that the two of you portrayed, it was very interesting because it was complex, but then we go through all of this in our daily lives. Some of it, actually. So what kind of discussions did you two have before approaching those scenes? Like those scenes where, suppose, Kani is not showing that she's angry on you, but she's just going on, she's being that strong mother, the headstrong mother that she was. Or you are kind of, keeping your distance with her. What kind of like conversations did you two have, or you had with the director before approaching?
I don't think we had.
Yeah.
I also do not. Ideally, I wouldn't want to discuss with my co-actor.
Ah, okay.
I personally, unless my
yeah.
co-actor really insists on it, then
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
Because then that sometimes takes away even the surprise I may get, or a moment of honesty and
Okay.
truthfulness that can
Okay.
emerge out of that you didn't discuss, and you are just being those characters that you are, and you are going to react that way. So I would ideally not wanting to discuss with my co-actors unless it's a intimate scene, or if it's a scene of action, then I would want to just a bit of practice to know to actually not hurt the person and to have choreographed scenes that's required for the story.
Yeah.
Otherwise I wouldn't. And Shuchi, I think, agreed. Shuchi was also like, unnecessarily, we don't need to discuss with each other. We had a director who would give us the clarity of my own character.
Yeah.
Like, even in real life, you don't know, I mean, you know the other person, but you don't know how they're going to respond. Also, you have an idea how they may, but you can sometimes get a surprise, or sometimes you know exactly how they were going to respond. So, but you know yourself much better maybe, or sometimes you discover yourself from other person. So that's nice to play in certain genres, not probably for all the genres of films. But for me, it was mostly with, like, Shuchi is the person I have talked to.
I agree. I mean, it's good to enter a scene without knowing where it's going to end. That's and I think acting is a lot of interpretation. It's a lot of listening.
Okay.
And that space was always there. We had the script to go by, and also there was also a space right before entering into the scene and shooting it. We would, if in case we had any doubts, we would all just come together and talk about it.
Right.
Like, why is this character behaving this way? But mostly the questions pertain to our own character. And one fun thing that Shuchi used to do on set is before getting onto the scene, she would personally come up to us, like all the three of us, if we have like a group scene that's going on.
Yeah.
She would individually give us an intention. So I don't know what Kani has been told, and she does not know what I have been told.
Oh.
And Kesav does not know what I have been told. So likewise, nobody is aware of what's happening. And then once we have blocked the scene and there's an action, so it's kind of a play, because now I'm getting into the scene trying to figure out what is going in the head of my mother, and my mother is also trying to figure out why am I behaving this way. So it becomes a very, like, acting becomes like a fun play.
Instinctive?
Yeah, instinctive. It also becomes instinctive and we're very surprised by how certain scenes come out to be. We love taking multiple takes and figuring it out. Yeah.
Right. Even for Kani, your character basically, she was a conventional mother, but at the same time she had that teenager in heart, you know, like she wanted to kind of also break the rules at times.
Yeah.
How did you kind of play with both the aspects in your character?
When you ask how, I always think how. Like, like when people ask really, like, I mean, I don't have I stood in the step and then I jumped. I don't have an answer like this. But it is more about like, it was not specifically this one thing. I mean, this is one of the aspect of Anila, like wanting to probably relive again, and like rightly pointed out in the last interview where many things that Meera's character is getting in Anila's time, she didn't get to live like that. So some things she wants to, or she wants to be a cool, good mother, also a cool mother, also wanting all that. So she's struggling with all that and trying to find the right way. At times she fails. She also likes a little bit of attention. All this is there. Probably lack of attention that she that doesn't have it with her husband maybe, or she wants more, or all this is there. So like I behave a certain way, like for example, I may not, things that may hurt me, like personally, Kani, and maybe not the things that Anila would like. So you just slowly knit down those things, no? Like if somebody passingly comment you something, and I may not even hear that personally, but Anila, for being, she may hear it, or she may not pay attention.
Right.
Maybe Kani pays attention to that. Like, you know, so those things you slowly understand. You become this person. What are the things that you're sensitive to? What are the things that you may react, or you choose not to react, or all that. So that you prepare before in hand, if possible. Some, like, fortunately I was with two, like even Payal or even Shuchi. They gave all of us the time to prepare with that and have an idea of it. And so you didn't go on the set the first day and you're discovering your character on the 10th day or 15th day. You sometimes that happens, most times it happens to me. I'm like, oh, I just understood the character. Oh, film is over. So I don't know. Some actors are good too. Like I've seen actors who they get the character in half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's also like, maybe some characters comes to me like that. So it all depends. So I think coming back to your question, I think that preparation time was there that helped me understand. And you are trying to be that and responding your surroundings with that, like not me, so something like that. And ideally, I don't want to feel like how I would feel. So to get into, like, you know, how if you allow yourself to be also in a space, you may also have certain emotions and all that. But ideally, I want to play someone else than playing me. Sometimes some characters are close to you, so you may end up playing. In fact, that is more difficult to play, because to separate yourself from that person, especially when you are close to the character. But if the character is so far away from you, it's more easier in terms of making it alien to you and to play, I think. So Anila is not close to me. That way it was easier, but it was difficult because I didn't know a person like this. So it was like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Did I speak?
It was very interesting to know your perspective. Yeah.
No.
But also it's very interesting that it is set in the 90s. Why exactly was that time frame chosen?
I think that's because we are 90s kids. We were growing up around then. Like we were, I think, you know, no mobile phones till you're in class 12. I think was when mobile phones were slowly entering, and that too they were costly. And so this is the time that people had landlines. So the whole language of love in this film is, एक miss call deke kaat denge, and charge the cordless so that when your mom goes to sleep, then you can talk. So those things are important to the directors growing up years, I guess. That's why it's in the 90s.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I understand why it is named Girls Will Be Girls, like the context of it, but I just want to know it from you and Ali, like when you were choosing names, or probably
we were not
like,
choosing names. No.
Okay.
Suchi,
The
always.
director
Suchi did it.
had
Acha.
this
Ha,
like
ha.
in her mind, and
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
remember that conversation we were having. I think she was in New York and she was kind of running these titles by.
was there other titles?
There was another one. She had a couple of them actually.
Do
But
you remember? What was
Yeah.
that?
It was my school pledge
ah,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
or something as a what's the first line? I forgot.
As a student?
As a student of mine.
yeah. 'Cause I remember very clearly because her voice saying on the call, this rings really. This just sounds nice to me. You know.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
Girls Will
actually
Be
does
Girls,
sound
yeah.
nice.
There's a certain defiance in this
Yeah.
title. There's a certain like rebellion, like a zid in this title.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys, then girls will be girls.
Girls
you
Will
know,
Be
like
Girls.
that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's
Absolutely.
why, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting that I think you were talking about the pledge, like my school pledge, and that pledge scene, and when everything kind of goes down for your character, you call your mother to take you out from that entire like whatever the chaotic scene that was happening. It must be very taxing to play that, as because you have also been a teenager, of course, and you've had your days.
Yeah.
So was it taxing to play such scenes, and do you take all these scenes back home, or do you like have a method where you kind of can put all these scenes behind and live your life?
I think the scene was shot over a couple of days
Okay.
and not chronologically. So they were taxing in. When I read the script, I knew it's going to be a taxing scene, and they were taxing in different ways. So one particular segment of it was physically taxing, like to orchestrate or to choreograph the whole scene,
Right.
and to just have like a sari on you and run around, but also to get to a point where you're emotionally really scared. I think getting bullied in school is a very common experience, and or just being as a woman, just always having this narrative play in your head that things can go wrong anytime.
Yeah.
Like you always, like when you step out in a public space, even private space, unfortunately, you always have this thing going on. You always have the worst in your mind.
Yeah.
So I think for drawing any emotionality to it, I could definitely rely on that. I think before entering the scene, Kani and I did an improv before we stepped into that scene. But also, I think there was a point where we were shooting. It was just the first shot of the day, and like fun things happen on set. Sometimes it's not at all related to the narrative of the script. I was a bit sick that day, and I was also happening to miss my mother because I was sick and she was not around.
Okay.
So the first shot of the day, I entered the scene feeling like I've been chased, and I sit down and I cry because of that. I cry because I'm sick and my mom is not here. But then I also, in my head, I'm manipulating, okay, I can use this to probably put this energy into the scene, and it works. So yeah, it like acting sometimes happens in weird ways.
Right.
Yeah, whatever works. Man.
Whatever works, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, the intimate scenes that were shown.
Yeah.
While watching the movie, to be honest, it didn't feel out of place.
Yeah.
It really didn't
And
feel
it
out
shouldn't.
of place. It shouldn't, exactly.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel out of place. So, how were those scenes approached on sets with Shuchi and with Keshav and you? How were those scenes approached, like behind the scenes?
Very honestly and very transparently. We were asked how independent we are to take this decision. Our consent was always included.
Right.
And in the set, it was a closed set, and all women on set every time we were approaching an intimate scene. So it didn't really feel intimidating. And I think after a point, we were very comfortable in our own skin.
Right.
And when you have a lot of women on set, it's also very fun because we're exchanging notes. We are sharing our experiences, and it's a fun space to be. Keshav can elaborate on how it was
Yeah,
being
please.
surrounded by so many women. on set.
No complaints.
Oh my
But,
god.
no, very honestly, like she said, the conversations really helped.
Yeah.
We approached it even like how she was talking about the intentions, right?
Yeah.
There was an intention and emotional. We focused on the emotions of those scenes as well.
Yeah.
And what we did with the other scenes, we approached the intimacy scenes also very similarly. So it was more, there was a route to follow. And with her also, because we were the youngest ones on the set, we had become best of friends. And so that comfort was there of telling what is okay, what is not okay. And the most surprising thing for me in the intimacy scenes was that Suchi ma'am used to tell us that in the moment, though it is written in the script, when you're in the scene, if you don't feel like doing this, you don't have to.
Okay.
And for me, I was like, how is that possible? You have written this on the script, and like, won't it affect your story that you're telling? She said, no, I trust you all as the characters, that you've got the characters. And now, if you don't feel it in their skin, then don't do it.
So nice.
Which
That's
is
actually very-
which is so cool.
Yeah.
What a relief.
What a
It
relief.
should be replicated as the Bible for intimacy. in
Yeah,
future.
yeah, absolutely.
And also, we were allowed to see the monitor.
Okay.
These were the only scenes we were allowed to. And so we knew exactly what was being shot, what is going to go. And yeah, it was very lovely.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially for those scenes where you have to be comfortable with your like co-actor.
Yeah.
It's, it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I mean, as actors, I can tell you it's so traumatic sometimes. These scenes can be traumatic, and that's not the intention should
At
she
all.
ever had
Yeah.
for like
Mhm.
any of us.
Yeah.
Right.
We are very clear about it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so those were actually all my questions. But one last question that I wanted to ask because it intrigued me. The school where you shot, it was like what the students, all of them junior actors, or what it was it like a
So
Very real
there was
students.
so we shot in two schools,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
in
yeah.
Dehradun, one in Mussoorie. And the assembly scene, most of the kids you see are actual junior school and
right,
school kids.
Yeah,
In
seems
fact,
so.
some teachers have also done cameos,
Oh,
which is
oh my
very
God.
cute. And in the other, like the students that you see that have speaking parts in the film, they were all auditioned and cast, obviously.
Yeah.
So because they have that dynamic is very important. Like her friend is played
Yeah.
by this actress called Kajol Chuk, and there's Hardik, and you know, all
I was
these actors.
intrigued by the people in the background because all of them were like there were so many people, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so are they all students? Like, are they junior actors or are they all students
Credit goes
from
to
that?
her also.
Okay.
Because she was the one, she got on stage, and because people were just walking around everywhere. So she announced that, please just stay here. And of course, they listened to her.
I don't remember.
But yeah, those were all my questions actually.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for
Thank
speaking
you.
to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.